Hello everyone and welcome to Campus Channel. I'm here with EMLYON Business School and we're going to be talking about the MSc in Finance. In order to do so, I have the pleasure to welcome the Academic Director of the MSc in Finance, Jean Pascal Brivadi, and one of his students, Meric. They're both here to answer my question, but first we're going to start with the pitch. The pitch, 60 seconds, in which you're going to have to tell us the main lines of this MSc. Are you ready?
Hope so.
You hope so?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. It's your turn.
Thank you. Always the most challenging part. Let me introduce briefly the MSc in Finance with 4 markers in 4 letters. An I for innovation, because in terms of content, because in terms of activities, and because in terms of infrastructure with our new campus that students are about to discover next year. Second, I as international, because we are developing very actively international partnerships proposed to our students to make part of their studies abroad. I, once again, with interactive, because we give the possibility of our students to interact and to discuss with all the stakeholders of the program, and B, as career booster, because it's true for career, it's true for networking, and it creates a lot of opportunities for our students at the end of the program.
So we triple IBO, basically IBO, something like that, something on the way.
Exactly.
Makes sense for an MSc in Finance. How to apply, that's what we're going to answer through the admission. Jean Pascal, do I need to be good at math in order to apply, in order of having a chance of being accepted in this MSc?
No, because typically, let's say, I would say a couple of % of our students, less than 5% honestly, have never learned math.
All right.
They are coming from law studies typically, and they absolutely have forgotten what they have learned till the college,
Yeah.
for sure. So we are here to help us to succeed anyway. And yes, because part of the program is dedicated to market finance, and so far market finance is mostly based on mathematics. So for this specific category, roughly 40% of the cohort, they need to have a strong background in mathematics.
All right, Meric, what was your academic background? What did you do before applying?
So before applying, I didn't do any math. I used to study history and political science.
All right.
I have been working for a while, so when I came back to school, I wanted to join the MSc. So I completely agree in the fact that we don't need to be good at math when we join, but eventually we are going to be supported to become a bit more proficient. I think it's very important for the market and quantitative finance, but also for the corporate finance. We work with numbers every day, and eventually being good at math will become essential.
So history and political science, that has nothing to do with finance. How do you go from history to finance?
So I have actually joined the luxury hospitality after my studies, after my bachelor. I've been evolving in this industry for a while. I wanted to learn a bit more about the business, and it appeared very clear for me that finance aspect of any business is essential. If you want to do any strategy, if you want to do anything regarding the development of the company itself, finance is flowing everywhere. So I wanted to be proficient in that specific area to learn and to develop a bit more my acumen about financial and business development.
The admission process seems pretty standard. You have a resume, you have grade, roughly. I would say those are the 2 main pillars of the admission process. However, you have to go through digital tests. What are they made of, and how do you prepare for those? I'm going to ask you, since you had to go through those, I guess.
Indeed. I remember the specific one of the dominoes. So we had a few tests, I think English test, if I'm right, and the aptitude and logical test. I haven't been familiar with this, so I worked. Actually, I prepared a lot before. I really wanted to get into the masters. So I worked for this, and beside all the tests we needed to be supported by a recommendation letter. So I spent some time on the side working on this, getting the letter.
EMLYON is a very demanding school, and so how can someone who's watching this show improve and make sure that he has better chance of integrating? By doing what?
Well, I will say there's no specific training.
All right, that's good.
Apart from what you have learned before. And second, I think my best word is probably curiosity. You are curious or not curious. And honestly, I immediately see a difference between two potential students in the way they are not going through the test, but answering to the video questions and answering to the written questions. Even for students who are not familiar with finance, there are some, financial questions to be answered. And the way they answer is a good test for us to see or to assess the aptitude of a student to succeed in our program. For sure, this is not the only one. You mentioned the transcript, the grades, I would say the academic excellence, globally speaking, that's important, but we have no blacklist. We have some we pay attention to, but we try to balance all the ingredients to make sure that we can identify and spot the good potentials.
Right, it's not just what you say, it's also how you say it in some way. It would summarize it. GMAT, TAGE MAGE, English test, sorry. Can they also make a big difference, a real difference?
English for sure. English for sure, because most of the courses are delivered in English, and for some students it's very difficult, just to attend to the courses and then to be able to deliver what is expected in terms of individual and collective exams or group exams.
Like you said, it is taught in English. However, it's a French school.
Yeah.
So for international students, how good at French do they need to be? Do they need to know any French at all?
No.
No.
No, but we provide them some French courses. They have, packages they can, if they want to learn a little bit French just to be comfortable in the day-to-day life, we're providing them. But the ambition of the program is not to make them fluent in French at the end of the program. Once again, it's a question of motivation and curiosity. If they want to, some of them are pretty good in French at the end of the program, whatever the nationality. But for the other ones, they have the opportunity, if they want to get, some souvenirs from their stay in France.
All right, so basically, you don't need to be especially good at math. You can have studied history and political science and yet apply and get accepted. And you can also study in a French school without speaking French. Those are the clichés that we just debunked. And for the other ones, well, let's move on to the clichés. Meric, what would be the first cliché that comes to your mind? Those stereotypes that we can have, I don't know, in finance, EMLYON Business School, Lyon, the city, whatever, you name it.
Regarding finance, I always thought before that in finance we are not creative. I was quite surprised by the fact that eventually finance is a mean to understand a business situation, a business case, like any case study. And we have to be creative first to understand the case, to understand the industry, the company. And then if we want to present our solution, our recommendation, we need to be creative in the way we present. That's something that will follow during our professional life, for example, in M&A, where we have to deliver a lot of presentation, and creativity is pretty important in that case.
And to find a creative solution, creative measures, for example, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
All right. What would be your cliché, Jean Pascal?
My cliché would be EMLYON is Lyon.
Isn't it?
Yeah, and and France is France. So a lot of things are concentrated in Paris.
True.
And specifically for business schools, even if they are not all located downtown Paris. And the idea is sometimes that being based in Lyon is an issue because you are secluded as a student if you want to visit France or Europe during your stay. And second, because Lyon is just 2 million inhabitants and maybe difficult to find the talented profs who could deliver the best courses ever compared to other competitors based in Paris or in London. And honestly, we do our best to tackle this cliché and make sure that first, we have the best profs, and second, that Lyon is also attractive, not only because it's a smaller city, so the life is easier, but also because it's close to the Alps and close to the Mediterranean Sea, so it's very nice for travels. and for long weekends.
You just have the best of two worlds, basically. You have the best of the finance world and the best of the part of France. If I summarize, yeah, it was one of my questions. Like, why would a student choose to study in Lyon, rather, especially finance, rather than Paris or New York, even New York City? You mentioned London, that could be New York, and you just answered that question. So thank you for that. So basically, in creativity, it's not because it's numbers that it's not creative, and it is worth studying in Lyon rather than Paris or even New York City. Now let's move on to the program. Meric, you must have gone through the e-learning management fundamentals. What is it exactly, and was it compulsory? Did you have to go through it?
Absolutely. So we had several e-learnings to do before starting in September. So they were mainly about accounting, finance, marketing, and we had one about CSR and ESG.
All right.
And maybe a fifth one. I might have forgot. I think that's it.
That's in your basket.
Yes. So we had to do them before joining. I think it was super important because we have courses directly about accounting and all those topics, and to be a bit more understanding of what's going on during the class, I think it was very efficient. Would
you say that's why, even if you hadn't studied before any kind of, I don't know, we say finance or like accounting, that's really what helps you to level up with everything that you need to know before even starting the real courses?
Indeed. It was a starting point. I would say we are going a bit more further during the course. It's very specialized. So I wouldn't say you have everything in those e-learnings, but to start the program, I think it's compulsory, yes.
Many MSCs are called MSc in finance. What, according to you, makes this one specific and different from any other MSc in finance that have the exact same name?
I would say the specialization. I would say the fact that we can choose in this one between the market finance and really the corporate finance and the innovation. So we are, for my part, I'm specialized in second one. So we follow all the financial aspects of the lifetime, during the lifetime of a business. And I think that's one of the reasons actually I choose this MSc specifically, because of this specification. I wanted to have only and mainly this part of the financial aspect, maybe how to help a company to growth, how to deal with VC, with business angels, and later on with the M&A process and transaction. I think that's one of the very nice specificities we have.
And what would be the answer of the academic director to that question?
Almost the same. In fact, you remember my 3I beginning. Okay, let me add another one that is integrated. Our specificity, we are not the only one, of course, but one of our specificity, and we believe, footprint, is to allow students first to go through a common track, giving them the fundamentals, before choosing their specialization between market finance and corporate finance. So, and we give them tools to make this choice, whatever we are considering their level in mathematics, for instance, because we have some tests in between, as well as their appetite, because during this common track, we are also proposing them a lot of presentations delivered by professionals who are introducing their job, their expectations for young interns or young professionals, etc., etc., etc. So this is probably one of the key points, and maybe let me add another one, that we give the students who are interested into the possibility to take part to different challenges. It's free, it's based on motivation. We are making the teams at the beginning, and for example, this year we are very happy to have one team who has been selected for the final of the CFA challenge, French one.
All right, well,
but this is the first step, huh?
It's a first step.
Exactly. So we are very happy for them, and we believe that it's one of the markers of our of the program's academic excellence.
So you prepare them for certifications such as the CFA during.
Well, yes. Well, if you look at the program structure, at the end of the program, the students will have completed roughly 90% of the CFA level 2 content. Then they have to. The school has a partnership with the CFA, but this is according to what the students want to do. It's their responsibility to pass the CFA levels if they want. But, they have the content, they know what is expected for somebody who wants to pass successfully CFA level 1, level 2.
Bankers, right, are said to be very competitive people. Would you say this competition reflects within the atmosphere of the classroom? Or is it kind of a good atmosphere, even though you're very competitive people all together in the same room?
I will say the second option. I think competition helps us a lot in the way that we are very supportive between each others. We are very demanding as well for ourselves and for, I would say, what we want to do after the masters. So I think it's a very good catalyst to learn and progress. But I haven't seen anything so far that is bad in terms of competition. I think it helps us rise a bit, but it's good competition.
To be a healthy competition.
Exactly.
And what's been your favorite part so far of this MSc? I know you haven't finished yet, but the favorite part so far. Doesn't mean you didn't like the other ones, just the one you like the most. So
regarding the courses, I love strategy. So that was one of my favorite class, and very surprisingly, math and statistics. So I wasn't expecting it at all, but I really liked the way we approached, and we are going to still approach any financial topic, and actually the helps it gives us in terms of understanding how the financial world is evolving. So I think strategy and statistics were my favorite.
Your two favorite. You're going to have to go through an online international and innovation seminar. What is it exactly?
We used to because of the COVID.
All right.
And
so it's not online anymore?
No, because the students have said that it was definitely boring.
All right, that's why.
Exactly. And we have to be innovative. When the COVID occurred for the first time, and we were supposed to, at that time, there was an international week in Shanghai, because we have a campus there. I mean, the school has a campus there, and for decades, many programs, EMLYON programs, send their students between 1 week and 3 months in Shanghai. But when the COVID occurred, we had to find an alternative, and we switched to something that was fully online, based on local activities with local partners, etc. And first year was okay. Everybody was okay, was happy because there was something. The second year a bit less, and the third year, as long as China has progressively reopened its frontiers, it was definitely not really valuable for students. So we have decided to change that and to transform it into an innovation seminar, but located in Paris. According to the destination, it looks a bit less sexy, but we hope that in terms of content, I will.
But more sustainable.
For sure, for sure. And I will let Meric comment about the content, because it took place in January. So, Meric.
So how was it?
What was your feedback?
Was it sexy enough?
It was not Shanghai.
So what did you study exactly? What did you learn there?
So we had different person presenting different elements and aspects from finance. So we spoke about quantitative finance, asset management. We had an interview from students from EMLYON that did an interview to an M&A senior professional. So we had a very broad aspect of everything. We talked about the Euronext, let's say. That was the introduction by the morning. And we finished with the M&A. It was very interesting to have all those opinion and aspects from professionals. So based in Paris, the good aspect was it was easily accessible for all the professionals to join us and speak about their specialty.
You talked about curiosity, and I guess as a teacher, you also have to be curious and make sure that you change as the students want it, and I guess mission accomplished in some way. Last questions before we move on to the next part. For those who want a more sustainable career, do you offer like green finance courses? Is there a possibility to learn sustainable finance in some way?
Sorry to be disappointing, but no green courses, but what we call since the beginning ESG inside. It's looked like a little bit Intel inside, but behind that, we have the conviction that in a couple of years, ESG will be mainstream. Okay, everything will to adapt, and we prefer to inject and to reconsider our key fundamentals from a different angle, and try to either criticize if it has to be criticized, or I would say not deconstruct but reinvent a couple of things, than having something exclusively dedicated to ESG, because I think that once again in a couple of years it will be fully outdated.
Well, thank you for your honesty. I guess sometimes a picture speaks more than 1,000 words, and that's why we created Who Am I? Who am I? 3 people I will introduce you to, and you will tell me which one, according to you, suits the best to represent, to stand for the MSc in Finance at EMLYON. Here they are. So you have a screen on each side of this room. The first one, I would say, we talked about cliché. He's Jordan Belfort, you know, from the Wolf of Wall Street. Maybe that's what the students from the marketing quantitative part. Or maybe it could be one of those. I don't know. You will tell me. He's a banker. He's the money maker. He's ambitious, driven above all. He's also Leonardo DiCaprio, because he's not only Jordan Belfort, right? So that could be a sustainable guy, someone who's like, I don't know, cares for the planet as well. So you pick either the actor or the man he represents, he plays. The one in the middle, the IMF logo, all right? The IMF, International Monetary Fund, working to foster global monetary cooperation, secure financial stability, facilitate international trade, promote high employment and sustainable economic growth, reduce poverty. Why did I pick them? Because MSc in Finance, MIF, IMF, that's a really good pun, isn't it? Right? I know. I worked out on that one. And the one on the very other side is called Batman. I'm sure you recognized him. He's also Bruce Wayne. He donates large sums of money to help to make a positive impact on the city and its people, and beyond his activities as Batman. So, like you said, finance is at the root of everything, and it helps finance really good projects as well. And that's what Batman is doing when he's a Batman, because he's Bruce Wayne as well. Well, that was my explanation, but now you have yours. I will let you start.
Oof, it's a tough one.
Yeah, no, there's 3 really good choices, isn't it?
I will go for Batman.
All right, let's go. I like that.
I will go for Batman because what you just said before, I think finance is key in many elements we have in our society. I think it has to be purposeful as well. Sorry, and I think Batman has built a great company, the Wayne Corporation.
He did.
But what lies behind is the fact that he's understanding his role within the society, and there is something quite big behind it. And I just like Batman as well. So right. I'm biased in that case.
That would make sense, and I guess it works. It also helps people. What would be your pick? Normally, you can't pick Batman, even if you wanted to, I guess. But
let me explain you first why I do not choose some of them before giving my selection, my final finalist.
Okay.
Either Leonardo DiCaprio and
Jordan
Belfort, I will not choose them. Well, when you are working on the market, because before joining this, I was an investment banker for more than 2 decades, and we had our key word was your mission is commission, okay? And I think that this movie is based on that, and it's valid in all trading rooms, okay? Your mission is commission, but not beyond the limits. Remember 2008, etc., etc. And the problem of that guy, and what we try to prevent our students from, is to respect a minimum of ethics. Whatever you consider the social responsibility, etc., etc. It's just ethics, because when you are in front of your class in the morning, I mean, you can say, yes, okay, I've done my job and I've done it responsibly. Okay, in a responsible way. IMF, well, honestly, it's a little bit outdated. It has been founded just after the World War II, and it's now rivaled by China organizations, globally speaking. I'm not sure that it has led to take the right decisions. And, well, at the end, the ambition of the MSc Finance is not to rule the world. And, well, so, excuse me, but
no, it's
Batman
fine.
again.
Roger that, it's fine, I'm listening.
Okay, and just because I think that this guy is, first, smart.
He is.
In all ways, and second, is he has a lot of innovation. You know, he invents a lot of things.
Creativity.
Because, yeah, exactly, because behind Batman, there is all that technology, well, depending the film director you have, because the characters may vary from a film to another one. But True. Anyway, you know, so time to time, it depends a lot of, it relies on technology and sometimes a bit less on that. But I think that honestly, Batman is a good identity. with a profile that is a bit shaded, but that at the end make the difference. And that's what we hope for our students.
All right, well, that was very clear. Okay, thank you. So no IMF, no Jordan Belfort, you got it. However, Batman, that could do it. What do you do once you've graduated? Well, let's move on to after. How do you prepare your students for the very specific private banking interviews?
Well, first, we have a cycle of conferences where they meet professionals presenting their jobs, and they have to prepare a little digest about the job they are decided to select first. Second, they are coached by individual coaches in order to help them to prepare their interviews, to question about what they want to do, what they want to apply to, etc., etc. Third, we have introduced this year a platform training them specifically to the questions that are the most generally asked during the interviews. Okay, and well, at the end of the day, I think normally it should help them, because what we can, not really avoid is the stress and the ability to be enough comfortable when they are entering into an assessment center.
Would you say it's efficient? Have you been through those? I saw it was like maybe you've been through those once.
So I'm at the beginning of the process for my part. So I think it's very important what we have done in the class. It's a very competitive world. We are talking about competition. True. I think getting into an investment bank is competitive. So the MSc helps us a lot with all the elements you've said, with the courses we had, the coaches, very important. I think it was one of the most important for me, to have the support and perhaps the way to present ourselves and pitch ourselves, very important. I think this overall helps us to get into the process, but that's depend on us. Therefore, if we want to succeed, the stress, we need to practice the interviews, we need to use our network, we need to use every element, every tools we have to get into investment banking. So overall, the MSc helps us a lot, but it's also our part to be a challenge and to get to those interviews.
To be curious.
Exactly.
Like we said, I would mention. Mm-hmm. Do you know what you want to do afterwards?
Absolutely. So I have a background in hospitality. So that's something I want to do maybe later. I want to work in anything strategic, anything related to business strategy through the lens of finance. So I think anything in M&A will help me to have a better understanding of any industry, and eventually going back to hospitality industry with a better background, a better toolkit. So that's, I think, my path.
What's the alumni network like? How is it going to help you achieve your professional goal, the one that you just mentioned? The alumni network from EMLYON Business School, from the MSc in Finance. So to contact, I think what we said about the competition to get into this world is very complex, and the contact through the alumni network is super important. It's very important because we need to send a lot of messages on LinkedIn. But if we are part of this same alumni network, that helps. We are supported then by the university as well to have the right contact, the right person to go to, and maybe I don't know if you want to, if there is anything I'm forgetting regarding the alumni.
Well, as far as the alumni, well, as all business schools, EMLYON has a strong alumni base. Power of this alumni base depends also on the way they are approached by the students. And twice a year, we do organize small alumni events. So we are inviting some alumni to discuss with our students. Typically, at the end of the program, we have an international period, and during that period, we have a small event where they can meet alumni, specifically in London, for those who are interested in having starting their career in London. And
two last questions. What national and international accreditation does this program have? What are the rankings, basically?
Well, there are two things. First, accreditations, and second, rankings.
True, right, you're right.
Accreditations, it's the question of the program within the school. So the school has the famous Triple Crown, plus I would say local accreditation, so French accreditation. Our program is accredited by Conférence des Grandes Écoles, gathering 250 grandes écoles in either engineer schools as well as business schools in France. So, and it's true for now more than 20 years. So it has never changed. We're just about to renew this accreditation, and we are pretty relaxed regarding the potential outcome.
The outcome, right?
Exactly. Regarding the rankings, so we are ranked almost at the same level. And sorry if I'm not just, if I do not spot exactly the rank, but let's say around 15, 17. And that's true for QS ranking and the Financial Times. Assuming that the system is a little bit different, Financial Times is based on a survey estimating the career after 3 years, or 3 years after the program, okay, and the career path 3 years after the program. And for QS ranking, it's it's based on reputation, and I would say reputations, including the reputation based on the network of the teachers, for instance, the reputation based on the network of the alumni, etc., etc. So the methodology is different, but at the end of the day, we are almost the same level. Of course, we are doing our best to progress. We know where we can progress in order to improve this ranking. Well, compared to our French competitors, once again, and if we enlarge a little bit scope and we include the teachers and the competition where we are competing, when our students are competing with other school students on an international base, we are pretty comfortable.
Right, thank you. And the last question is going to be for you, Meric. Why is Jean Pascal a good academic director? Or what makes him a good academic director as a student?
Well, one of the things I was really impressed about is the knowledge you have about the industry. I've been there for a long time, but it's always interesting to have someone very passionate about what they're talking. And I think this is one of the reasons you have the classes we have with you within the second semester are some of the best we have, because we can talk about anything in finance, in economy, and we will have someone to talk to, and we have someone that brings something to the conversation. I think that's really important, to have someone in front that is passionate to share, and to help us learn about this, but also to have someone that can bring the context and bring everything you have, your curiosity, we are saying, into every element in finance. So I think it's really interesting and really good for us to learn. So regarding the teaching and then the follow-up with everything else, and the way as well the program makes,
And it's a shared opinion among students.
Yes, absolutely.
You can be the only one who gives a good program director, right? That was an important question. Time flies. It's time for extra time. Extra time, 2 minutes. Basically, it's time for the conclusion. Maybe you want to name something, quote something that we haven't said already, or maybe you want to highlight something that we've already said. I will let you start, Meric. What would be your conclusion? It could be something else as well.
Absolutely. So now for my conclusion, I think I've seen the way I've changed since the beginning of the program in understanding finance and economics and the world around us. And it has been so far a great journey. It's not done yet. We are not finished. But I think that's the big change. And that's why I'm really happy to be in this program, in that school, because I can feel the way it changed, the way it challenged me, and the way I like it. And I think it's a very good sign.
And since it's not about the destination, but about the journey, I guess you have to appreciate the journey before even appreciate the destination. Jean Pascal, what would be your conclusion?
Well, maybe two things. The first one is, and I will answer the program director, that one of big challenge is to adapt the program, because things are changing very fast. We have not talked about artificial intelligence. We have not talking about, technology in general. That is impacting massively, including finance, the way the business is done. So finance is not just finance in that way, but finance is changing with the world, and sometimes faster with the world, because there is a lot of innovation beyond finance. So for people who are curious, once again, this is definitely a good way to see that. And our job is to make them, you know, at the verge of the changing world. And second, probably our new campus will be one of these, you know, breaking points. The school has invested a lot. They are not the only one, but I think it will change also the way, the experience for the students, due to the quality of the infrastructures, due to the location, because we are moving back downtown. Even Lyon is not a big city, as you understood, etc., etc. So I think that next year will be a new version of the program, whether you consider the location and maybe the content, because we will make some changes.
All right, thank you for the trailer, not for the spoiler, but for the trailer. Thank you, Jean Pascal. Thank you, Meric. Thanks to the two of you for answering my questions. Well, if you like what you've heard, I guess next year it's going to be, stay tuned, because next year is going to be an even better year, I guess, from what we've heard. It's EMLYON Business School, MSc in Finance. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon.